What's up with it, King? What's up with it, Queen? You already know who it is. It's your big brother, Demont Pope, a.k.a. Mr. Purpose Over Pointless Excuses. Every week, you know, we've been bringing you special guests, and it don't stop here. We continue. I got another special guest waiting for you right now. So listen, without further delay, without any more interruptions, I want to introduce to some and present to others my very special guest, Mr. Donovan Tolbert. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's up with it, King? How you feeling, King?
Man, doing good, man. I'm happy to be here, Demont.
Absolutely, man. I'm happy for you to be here, man. Thank you for accepting the invitation, man, and taking time out of your schedule coming to add value, man. Everybody knows over here, my job is to inspire, motivate, educate, and empower. And that's what all my guests do. So I already know you're about to unload. So let's let the people get to know you. First of all, tell us, man, who is Donovan, right? And what exactly is it that you do?
Yeah, man. So yeah, I mean, like I said, Donovan Tolbert coming at you guys. I am a motivational speaker. My main target market is going to be schools. So I really target the elementary, middle schools, high schools, colleges, and I empower children and the youth to be able to get to that point to where the level that they're on right now. They can build their mindset, they can build their belief system, they can build all those things so that they can go into the next level prepared and ready to go, knowing what to expect, so that they can capture more scholarships, absolutely, capture more, and that's academically and athletically, right, for student athletes, and really just pouring into the people, man, giving back, because that's what it's all about. I was given an opportunity by mentors, coaches, and parents and whatnot to, be able to build my mindset while I was young. So now I just want to be able to give back and do the same thing to the youth of today.
Absolutely, man. I love that answer. Now, let me ask you this, though. Now, you said you're a motivational speaker and you target in the schools, pretty much all things student athletes included. Your job is to inspire them, motivate them, spark something inside of them so that they can reach their fullest potential. Am I right?
Yes, sir. You got it.
All right. Now, let me ask you this, Donovan. How long have you been in this particular field? How long have you been a motivating force for these students?
Yeah, so really, the start of it, if you want to go unofficially, ever since I turned 21, when I got to that point when I graduated college, okay. I'm 29 this year now, but officially, like with an LLC and a business started to where I'm actually going out and pouring into people and audiences officially this year. So I've been speaking for, I've been officially a motivational speaker for about a year now.
Right. So, but you have we're talking about from 21 to about 29. So we're looking at about 8 years of experience, right? 8 years of pouring into the hearts and the minds of other people. 8 years of basically putting in work. 8 years of grinding. We're talking about 8 years of cultivating, 8 years of developing, right? So I don't want you to minimize, nor do I want the listeners to miss that critical component. Like it took 8 years for you to get to the point to where you would be able to consider yourself or call yourself a professional speaker. So although the incorporation just took place within the last year, the development has been taking place over the span of 8 years. So those of you who may be going through a transition or going through a process, basically what I want to point out that Donovan is illustrating is that it's not going to happen overnight. Like success is a process. So Donovan, you've been going through that 8-year-long process, and now we're here at the point where you're finally able to step out and do what you've been prepping, what you've been cultivating, what you've been preparing for. Now it's time for you to do it. Now it's not time to prepare. Now it's time for you to be executing on all the preparation that you've already done. Am I hearing you right, Donovan?
That's it, man. I mean, you couldn't have said it any better. Like, just the fact that, like, I've always told myself, people would ask me when I was, just going to like random places, church or just meetings, organizations, what do you want to do for a living? And I've always told them, like, I want to be a motivational speaker. I want to speak to kids. I want to go out and just empower the youth and the young people out there. And it's just crazy, the fact that, like, through that time, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, because even though you say 8 years of preparation, there was a little bit of fear. There was doubt there too. Right. There was a little bit of like, am I called to do this? Like, if I actually step out and take that jump,
King,
am I going to be able to deliver to the audience if people are looking at me and I'm on stage with a spotlight on me? And there was a bit of procrastination there too. And it was just a few things that, I was able to develop my mindset just through life experiences and was able to finally take that jump and do it. but I would tell people all the time, man, I want to be a motivational speaker. This is what I want to do. Yeah. And I mean, any listeners listening to me right now, like, you're probably saying the same thing. Like, you're probably telling yourself like, hey, like, I want to go ahead and open that business, or I want to go ahead and open that firm, or I want to be a fitness fanatic, or whatever the case is, but you just don't know how to get started. Like, for me, I had the same issues. Like, we are all human beings. I promise you, Jeff Bezos had fears and doubts starting Amazon. I promise you, like, Steve Jobs, you know, started to think to himself, like, is this going to work out? It's going to happen. It's a part of the process, guys, but it's about taking those tiny steps just to move forward. And I finally did that. And it got to a point to where I opened up an LLC, and like, it's just gung ho from there. You got to go all in to where you can't give yourself an out. You got to go all in and just say, hey, I'm there. So I mean, that's what I did. And it's just cool to be able to say that. Even to hear you say that still blows my mind. Just the simple fact of knowing that this is actually real and it's only going forward from here is pretty cool.
Yeah, man, I could definitely relate, especially about the going through the process. And then you talked about in your mind, you talked about having those doubtful moments when you were questioning, am I even called to do this? And I understand, like, I know so many moments that I've questioned myself, like, did I really hear God clearly when he told me to execute on this move? Like, am I really flowing? Am I really targeting the right audience? Am I saying the right thing? Am I saying the right thing to the right people? Am I saying the right thing to the right people at the right time? See, there's a lot of overthinking. There's a lot of overanalyzing. Like, I'm a critical thinker. I'm an analytical thinker by nature. So I'm always analyzing. So I've been in that place, and I just want to applaud you, Donovan, for pushing through that. And I want the listeners to catch that. Like, we push through to get to where we're destined to be, man. So I applaud you for that. Listen, if you're getting value right now, I need you to hit that thumbs up. I need you to hit the like, subscribe, right? I need you to hit that notification bell if you haven't already, so that you don't miss out when we're releasing new content. Listen, Donovan, I want to talk about the motivation, right? Since you are a motivator, you and I, we motivate, we inspire our audiences and our listeners, right? I want to talk to you about the motivation, and you tapped on it a little bit, but I want to talk about the motivation, right? The inspiration behind you going through that process of becoming a motivational speaker professionally. I want to talk about the development stages, right? Like, what was the motivation behind you saying, look, I want to be that voice of the people. Like, I want to be the solution to the problem. Like, I want to do something that I not necessarily haven't done before, but I want to actually do what I keep telling people I want to do. What made you want to become a speaker, first of all?
Yeah, that's great. So that's a really good question. So it really started back in high school. Like, I would always find myself behind the scenes, just ministering to people and just coaching people, like, and just doing it for free, just, you know, it's just behind the scenes and everything. And as a youngster, I ended up, you know, I was an athlete. So my mom, and this is going to a little bit of my story, but my mother, she was the one that really was a catalyst for me being able to build my mindset, because I was a track and field athlete. And back in the day, like, I started track when I was in like 11th grade. I was primarily a basketball player, and I ended up, you know, just joining the track team to stay in shape for basketball. And, you know, I found out that I was okay at it, like, nothing to get like recruited, nothing to go to college for, nothing to be getting scholarships and whatnot. Like, I was just somebody that was just kind of walking through the motions, just trying to do it. And by 12th grade, I was able to get to a point to where I made it to a state championship, right? Kind of a long story short, but I still had no recruits, no recruiting offers, no nothing. Yeah. And I had to walk onto a Division II school, right? Shout out to any collegiate athletes, right? I'm not downing Division II, Division I, Division III at all, but I had to walk onto the team. Wow. And just through a process of just honestly just failure and learning and figuring out how to get better at my craft, I was able to take my talents, you know, to a point to where I was able to transfer to a Division I school. And man, honestly, man, because my mother taught me how to build my mindset when it comes down to like writing down my goals, speaking affirmations to myself and on the goals and how to do that. Yeah. And then the activities that it takes to actually get there. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, it was powerful. And I learned this just key to success, to be able to take that same concept. Yeah. And you can apply it to any area of your life. And it is almost guaranteed. It's an appointed time that you'll be able to get there. right? I can't tell you when you'll be able to get there, but it's an appointed time. Wow. The Bible talks about how you got to write the vision and make it clear.
That's right.
Right. And then at that point, you're going to have an appointed time in which once you speak on that, it's going to happen. So I learned how to do that. And now the inspiration, to go back to your question, the inspiration to become a motivational speaker now is because I was able to get to a point to where, like, going from somebody who was not even recruited in high school to the end of my career, being able to break a school record that previously had lasted for 30 years, to be a 2-time gold medalist, and then from there go on and compete 2 times in a national championship.
Come on. Wait, pump your brakes. Yeah. Here we go. Somebody always want to come on the King Speech podcast where we talking purpose and then speed past some critical information. So I'm gonna do you like there's no respective person. So you get like you get no special privileges. Back up. Like, let's repeat those accolades, those accomplishments, because we talking about something that started in an unsure, in opposition, so to speak, or wasn't what you expected. We talking about you having to walk on to a specific division, not the division that you aspired to be in. Like, everybody want to go D1, Division 1. Like you didn't get that opportunity. You had to walk on, if I remember correctly, to a Division 2 school. And then let's talk about them accolades again. Yeah. This time a little slower for the people, will you?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So, so I got to Division 1 level, and honestly, I kind of skipped over it, but yeah, like I'm not just saying that like my life is great. Like, Donovan's awesome. He just went and went and have all these accolades. No, it took grind. It took manpower, man. It took being alone. Like, it's something about being alone and not being with the crowd. My mindset during college, I wanted to be like my other teammates. I wanted to be in the in crowd, but I was always made to be the weird guy when I would go work out after practice. You know what I'm saying? Like we had practice, I go to the rec center afterwards and get those extra reps, and they looking at me like, bro, what are you doing? Right. But I mean, it got to a point where, like, that manpower, that work ethic, it got me to a point to where, 30-year record, I broke it. The very first jump of my senior season, and I shattered it. And until this day, it still stands. It's been standing for the past 6 years. I think it'll stand for the next 50 years. All because of the work that I did, right? So again, there's nothing special about Donovan, but it's just this it's the mindset. It's the mindset behind it. That's it. Like, your belief system, it is everything. And I'm telling you, like, when you go to write down your goals, and actually it's gonna feel weird at first, but just writing down everything that you want to come in the next year or the next 3 years, and then from there, speaking over them, and not just saying, hey, I want these things, but like, it's a specific science to speaking over your goals and affirming yourself. So I would say things to myself like I am so happy. This is when I didn't even like get recruited out of high school. I would say things to myself like, I am so happy that I am a Division 1 athlete. And that I finally made it to the top of Division 1, that the joy that is overwhelming me, I cannot bear. I have my hands up. I am a champion, and I'm smiling and I'm crying because I was able to accomplish this goal and go on and do things that I didn't even think was possible.
Wow.
And I would say things like that to myself. And I didn't even get this is during the bottom. This is during like the trenches.
Yeah.
And from there, through a series of process, I'm telling you, man, God will make a way for you. If you basically have a burning desire towards something, life will move out of the way for you so that you can go ahead and achieve that goal. And I did that. And like I said, to answer your question, I was able to break that record. I was able to be a 2-time gold medalist in my event. I was a triple jumper. I made it to the national championship. I was in the ESPN top 9 and was there, and I was on TV, got interviews and all that. And it was just crazy looking back. And it was like, man, I ain't even get recruited. So like, the reason why I'm saying this is this, like there's nothing special about Donovan. Like, if you're thinking that's what I'm saying, you're missing everything. What I'm telling you is that if you have a mindset and a faith and a belief system towards writing down your goals, speaking it, then going and doing all the activities that it takes to be able to go achieve those goals, I promise you, my friends, you can go out and achieve anything. And that was the motivation behind me wanting to be a motivational speaker, because I was able to do that. And now I teach these things and help other people to be able to learn what their purpose and their passion is, because there's a lot of negativity in the world.
Absolutely, man. And that actually segues right into the next question. Like, so, hats off to you, man. Salute to you from making it from the Division II to making it to Division I, to shattering the school record that still stands today. Also to being a 2-time gold medalist, right? To being on ESPN. Like, come on, man. Like those are accolades, and you made it through hard work, through grinding, through doing extra work, man. You talking about going to work out after the workout. Like that reminds me of the Mamba mentality that Kobe Bryant had. Like, he would get up, go to practice before the practice. You understand what I'm saying? So kudos to you for that, man. And we're gonna segue into what you was talking about on how you help other people. Like, talk about how what you do empowers somebody else's. Talk about the value that you add to other people from what you do in walking in your purpose.
Absolutely. So I'm actually going to drop some stats because there's 8 million when you talk about student athletes, and I'm going to segue in this one. Now, I'm not limited to just student athletes, but I want to just talk about student athletes because there's 8 million high school student athletes in America right now. And when it comes to getting to the Division I level, or Division II or Division III, whatever the case is, only 2% actually make it to the Division I level. So when you really take that math, yeah, that's not very much. And what I do is, how I add value is I go through the specific topics and the failures and the hardships that I went through, and even just the success principles that I went through, and I break it down to a way that it just makes sense to a middle schooler and a high schooler what the actual road to success looks like.
Yeah.
Because like when you look on TV and all that, like, it just looks like this just gravy road that you walk down, like a yellow brick road, and you go into the Wizard of Oz and there's no problems, there's no issues. But when you look at the Wizard of Oz and like take the concept of that, like that's honestly like the path to success. You know how many problems they ran into on that way to Oz?
Come on. Walk on, traveling down the yellow brick road. You know what I'm saying?
The yellow brick road, right? People look at the yellow brick road and that's all they're stuck on. But nah, you're gonna run into issues. So I prepare like student athletes, for example, for what that road actually looks like. So when it comes, it's something familiar as opposed to something that's estranged, and they can understand and walk into that with confidence, knowing that, hey, like Donovan told me this was going to happen. Donovan told me this was the process. Donovan told me that this is what I needed to do. And then from there, they take that content and that value and they apply it in their lives. And I'm telling you right now, I've had so many people, within the 8 years, like I said, that I've been kind of doing it behind the scenes, that have had just astronomical results from those simple steps. And it's not complicated stuff. It's just success principles that if you follow and practice, you will get the result at your appointed time. Everybody has a different appointed time. That's something that you need to remember, but just know that there is an appointed time if you follow those things. So that's what I do. I break that down to students and athletes and college students as well, so that they can have the kind of like their own yellow brick road to walk into their purpose. And that's the reason why my signature speech is named Overcome Your Impossible. Right. And it's just something powerful about that, because everybody has a different impossible that's in their mind.
Come on, man. Speed King. I love it. Overcome your impossible. And since you dropping words like overcome and impossible, like let's go on and flow a little bit more and go deeper down this journey, man, or this yellow brick road as we travel, right? Let's talk about some challenges. Now, we talked about some of the obstacles and the barriers, right, from the comparison that you used in the Wizard of Oz. Like, everybody think about the road, but they don't necessarily recall or pay attention to all of the challenges and obstacles. Let's talk about a real quick challenge or obstacle that you're facing right now, and also how you're handling it, because we know if it's a problem, right? Science tells us that if there's a problem, then there's a solution. To every problem, there's a solution. If there's no solution, then there's no problem. So let's talk about a problem you may be having, and how are you working towards the solution? Even if you haven't found the solution, what are you doing to work towards that solution?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'm actually, I would say working towards is going to be the key word, because when it comes to now starting a business, there's so much that goes to it. Like,
Come on, let's talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to get into the depths for those that want to be business owners. But there's a lot that you just have to take one by one. And I would say right now in my career as a motivational speaker, one of the biggest challenges that I have is social media presence and the consistency around social media. And the reason why I say that is I haven't had problems with consistency in the past. That's just my story. But when it comes to social media, like before being a business owner, I could really care less about social media. Like I was somebody who had Instagram, who had Facebook, who had Twitter, but I wasn't like trying to get the right angles every day because I had no reason to. So I would be the person that would like, be on Facebook, and like my last post wasn't until 2017, at an event that somebody took a picture of me randomly, and and they just tagged me on it. Yeah. So I wasn't somebody that was active on social media. So now having a mindset towards, okay, I'm trying to build a brand. I'm trying to build an audience. I'm trying to grow in this area. Now I have to be consistent on social media when it comes to my daily life. I'll be sitting in the car just like randomly thinking about stuff, and I'm like, oh, I need to make a video on this right now. So I have my little phone holder on the thing, and then I'll record myself saying something so that I can go post that later. And it's just having that mindset towards allowing people to see my daily life and my daily walk with this business. It's just keeping up with that. So what I'm doing to work towards is to be more consistent at it right now is to, what I told myself was this is it's just focus on tiny goals. Okay. And I'm going to break that down real quick. So this is how I actually got started with motivational speaking. So I did the same concept with social media presence, but tiny goals. Whenever you have a fear or a doubt or a constriction towards getting started with something, we as people, we have this like notion in our heads that when we do get started, we got to make up for all the procrastination that took place previously. So we feel like we got to do a whole bunch that first time. And that causes us to get so overwhelmed. And I might be speaking to somebody, but this is just me. But I get so overwhelmed just thinking about what I have to do, trying to get started with something, that I just don't do anything at all. And that turns into weeks. Then that turns into months. And then that sometimes turns into years, right? I told you, it took me almost 8 years to just get started with motivational speaking. But what caused me to actually get over the hump was the fact that I set something called tiny goals. And what this is setting a goal so minuscule that it literally will take you either seconds or almost less than a minute to complete. Yeah. That just gets you started. So what I told myself was this. I said, okay, when it comes to social media, my tiny goal is going to be I either just post one video or one picture a day, or even just one quote, and that's it. I don't have to worry about trying to follow people, add people, look up content, this and that. Just one simple task that's going to get me started. And since then, like for me, I was kind of breaky when I first started the journey, but I'm like 60 days straight of just like social media, because I have a mindset of minuscule. So if there's anything that you guys want to get started at, if there's anything that you guys feel like, you're bound to, and you just feel like it's tough to just get over the hump, stop thinking about completing 60% of the task or 80% of the task of what you missed previously. Set a super tiny goal just to get you started, and then do the same thing tomorrow. Stop worrying about the next day and weeks after that. One tiny goal today will get you started. And then from there, at the end of the month, I promise you, when you see how much work you've done since then, creating tiny goals, you'll be very surprised with yourself. So that's what I did. That's what I'm doing right now when it comes to social media presence. And it's working. It keeps me in a mindset of like, oh, I can do more than that. Like, if I want to go work out, if I'm trying to lose weight and whatnot, instead of telling myself I got to go run 10 miles because I procrastinated, let me just put out my workout clothes and walk to the mailbox and back.
Come on, man. Come on, you can't get across the room. You can't get across the room without taking one step forward, man. So I love that. And I want to point out the consistency. What you did was you built a habit of doing the small thing, right? The best you can do it on that level you were doing it. And then day by day, you were able to add to that one minuscule thing, that one minute detail, you were able to add to it, and you were able to build on it, which I got to ask you this, because that may be the answer to this question. Like, what is one important lesson? Like in about 30 seconds, give me one important lesson, the most important lesson, or one of the most important lessons that you learned over this span of building this professional career of yours.
Great question. Yep. So I would say the focus between goals and systems. Goals are great, but goals are a one-time thing. Okay. When you make a goal, it's something that you work towards always, but a lot of people forget about the systems around it. So whenever I do anything, what I mean by that is if I had a goal to be able to like clean my room, because I know my room gets a little messy sometimes, right? It'll be plates of food and clothes all over the place. I might muster up enough energy on one day and take 3 hours to clean my whole room. But if I don't focus on my system to keep it clean, then it's going to get dirty again. I'm going to have to do it the next month.
Yeah.
So what I do is I focus on the system of telling myself things like, you know what, I'm not going to allow food in my room. I'm not going to allow socks to hit the floor or whatever the case is. It's always got to go in the laundry. And then from there, now I can be happy knowing that my system is working and I don't have to muster enough energy to go and complete that goal. Right. So take that same concept and apply that to motivational speaking, business building, set the goal, write the vision, make it plain, but then focus on the systems that's going to get you there. And if you focus only on the systems, what will happen is you'll likely exceed that goal because you were so focused on the journey and getting there and whatnot. And that for me, man, that was fire for when I started actually participating in that.
Yeah. So the last question, your answer was basically tiny goals. And in this one, now we find out how those tiny goals turn into big accomplishments, because the whole time it was a system. Yes. It was the system behind the tiny goals that made you efficient enough, consistent enough, right, to build upon. And then you talked about struggling with social media into now being consistent over a 60-day span. And that's a lot for somebody who don't really like to be on social media, because I personally can relate. Before the business, I wasn't a social media guy. Now, let me ask you this, like for that young person who we've sparked some interest in, right? And they perhaps want to try this motivational speaking thing. Like, what is the first thing that man should do or that woman should do to get started in this career field that you and I share called motivational or inspirational speaking?
It's a great question. So I would say this. Everybody sees the motivational speakers that have made it, and they're like, if I don't have that, I'm a failure, right? And you feel like, man, what am I doing? Why am I getting started in this? But something that I did, and you actually have seen this yourself, Demont, but I just found ways to create opportunities out of thin air.
Yeah.
Just create the opportunity. So maybe as a motivational speaker, I didn't get booked for a conference that has 10,000 people in it and whatnot, right? But if I go to a family barbecue or something like that, or a graduation because of my cousin's graduation, she just graduated high school, little things like just saying to my aunt and uncle or your aunt and uncle or family member, hey, do you mind if I just get up and speak for 5 minutes or 10 minutes? I want to practice a speech that I've been writing for what I've been doing and whatnot. And most people are going to be affirmative to that because they're like, yeah, like, go ahead, let's see what you got and everything. And just create the opportunity out of thin air. And then from there, capture that content. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen is by you capturing that made it real. And then as you begin to build, creating opportunities out of thin air is social proof for when you go to attempt to get booked, because people see that you've already been speaking. Because people are only going to book people who have already been speaking. People don't typically book others that like have never done this before because they don't want everything to blow up and whatnot. So if I had to give you one tip, I would say, just create opportunities out of thin air and just ask the question and just, have the boldness and the 10 seconds of courage to do that. Mm-hmm. And then when you have the 10 seconds of courage to do that, you're going to have a lifetime of bliss and flourishment because of those things that you did in the past. So that'd be my one tip.
Man, I love it, man, because it's still, you're talking about documentation now, right? We went from tiny goals to systems to now we're talking about documentation, right? We're talking about creating the opportunities, creating the moment, right? Creating the encounter, creating the experience, right? From nothing, like creating, like we were created in the image of God, right? He is the greatest creator of all. So you create the opportunity and then document that opportunity, right? And it builds upon levels and levels of systems of tiny goals. I love it. I love it. I love it. Listen, before we get out of here, Donovan, before we get ready to wrap this up, I need you to tell everybody where they can go to connect with you, website, anything you got going on. Let us know those social media handles that we're talking about so we can tap in with you. It's all you right quick.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. So it's actually behind me too. So I wanted just to introduce you guys. So you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram name is going to be Donovan Tolbert 16. I'm also on Twitter at Donovan Tolbert 1. And if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, the name is just going to be Donovan Tolbert at that point. But yeah, I just wanted to say, man, thank you for having me on this platform, Demont. And man, just King Speaks has been amazing to me, man. I want to shout you guys out because what you guys are doing in the direction that you're going is truly a blessing, and it's a miracle to see that you're doing these same things. So hopefully you can take these tips and apply it towards your business. So, because we're going to be seeing you at the top soon. Obviously, you're doing the right things. Absolutely.
Hey, man, to God be the glory, bro. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule. Come kick it with me, man. Listen, before we get out of here, man, I got to let you close us out, right? I gotta ask you, man, what's that one piece of advice, man, that you would give that young king that's been watching this? And he like, man, them kings that inspired me. I want to do something different. I want to become an active agent of change. Like, what would you say to that one? But they may not have a support system. They may feel like they don't have enough money or they don't have enough experience. They may not be an author like myself. They may not be well-versed or well-articulated like yourself. They may not be an athlete like you, because I'm not an athlete like you. Like, what would you say to that person to inspire them and motivate them to continue to pursue their purpose over those pointless excuses?
Absolutely. So I would just say 3 things, right? And this is actually what my keynote topic is about. No matter what the support system behind you is, no matter where you're at right now in life, you might be at the bare bottom. But if you want to get anywhere, right, at any stage of whatever level you're at, step number 1, write the vision, make it clear, right? You will have an appointed time once that thing is written down. You may feel weird, write it down still. Second, speak it, affirm yourself. Say those things like they already happened and talk about the feelings that you have as if they already had happened. And then after that, the third thing is like we talked about tiny goals, the systems and all those activities that it takes to do the thing, go do the thing. I promise you, you follow these 3 steps, we'll see you at the top at that point. And I'm curious to see whoever the next national champion is and whatnot, who didn't get recruited, or whoever else the next CEO is that, didn't even have a business idea today, but write it down, speak it, do all the activities that it takes to do there, starting with tiny goals and systems. And I promise you guys, you're going to be in places that you never thought you'd ever be before, and you will be able to overcome your impossible.
Hey, that was. Listen, it's your big brother, Demont Pope, a.k.a. Mr. Purpose over pointless excuses. That's your big brother, Donovan. Look, I see y'all next week. Hey, remember, purpose look good on you. Yeah.